Good morning, guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Melissa Beckeru, and today I wanted to talk about how to make your life easier if you have young kids. So, these are a couple points that I have kind of come to realize really worked for us, and I either need to get back to them or I need to continue to do them. To start, number one, slow down. I am very, very guilty of always trying to rush my kids, and I always find that I get very anxious myself when I'm running late to go somewhere, or if my kids aren't getting dressed fast enough, or whatever the case may be. I find myself getting very, very anxious, and I don't want my kids to feel that way. I don't want them to feel like they always have to rush in order to make it somewhere on time. Yes, being on time is very important. I love being on time. I love being early whenever I go somewhere, but I don't want my kids to feel stressed out or anxious about making sure that they're always on time, because you know what? Sometimes in life, you're going to be late, and that's okay. I've really noticed that when I tend to rush my kids, they tend to act out more, they tend to throw tantrums, they tend to fight, and honestly, the faster I try to get them to go, the slower they actually go. So I've realized that I need to really practice this more, but just to kind of slow down a little bit more. What I've recently started to do is if I know that we need to be somewhere for a specific time, I always try to get them ready like 30 minutes before we actually have to leave. So, for example, today we went to school. So I told the kids, all right, guys, we're going to go to school now. Everyone go to the front of the house. And I let them kind of hang out there for a bit. I get them to pick their shoes that they want to wear, and they try to put their shoes on by themselves. And I kind of give them that 5 minutes at the front of the house. They play around a little bit. And then once I realize, okay, it is time to go, then I'll go. I'll help them put their shoes on, and we kind of slowly make our way outside. And I find that by giving them that 5 minutes just to play in the front area, it kind of calms them down a little bit. It lets them think that they are in control of what shoes to wear, what jacket they want to wear. Even when they eat breakfast, a lot of times I find myself trying to rush them, and they're kids. They're a year and a half old and 2.5 years old. So they want to sit down for a minute and they want to get up and go play with toys, and then they'll come back and have a bite. And kind of the way that I grew up was you sit down, you finish your meal, and then you can go play. But obviously, you have to be a little bit more lenient. My kids are very young and very close in age. So, what I've kind of let them do now is if they want to play for a bit, they can go play. Sometimes I will kind of chase them around with a fork full of food just so they can keep eating. But oftentimes, they will always come back to eat if they're hungry. So, I've kind of tried to slow down meal times as well. Kids will eat when they're hungry. They're not going to starve themselves to death. And that is something that I've had to kind of understand and realize throughout the last 2.5 years. Number two, less stuff. I can't even tell you, I'm sure if you're parents to young kids, the amount of little trinkets and toys that they accumulate, it's essentially junk. I know that this is kind of part of their childhood, getting all these little trinkets and toys from family and friends. But something that I've done to kind of combat this is for Christmas that just passed, I told my family no toys. I told them to do one or two outfits if they wanted, or pajamas, something like that. One toy, if anything. And I kind of told them, Milo likes dolls and stuff like that. Leo is into like puzzles and things that he can use his hands and his mind with. So I kind of laid that out for them. And the rest, if they wanted to give more, give money. The reason why I said money is because I keep all their money separate in an envelope, and we save their money for them. We have their little bank account. But I figured this summer when we go to the zoo, African lion safari, whatever activity we go on, we can use that money. The money that I save for them in envelopes, I plan to give to them when we go to these different excursions this summer. They can have $5, $10, and they can kind of pick what they want. If there's like a souvenir shop, let's say, that way they can feel like they're paying for the toy or whatever they choose with their own money. I feel like it'd be more fun for them. And it kind of gives mom and dad's pocket a bit of a break, because you know how it is when you go to these stores, the kids want everything. I just feel like they have so many toys as it is, and they don't play with half the stuff they have. We have a toy box down here. We have one in Leo's room and we have one in Milo's room, and they hardly ever play with anything. They have like their favorite 5 toys that they play with consistently. Number 3, this is something that I did every single day for months and months on end, and then it stopped one day. I need to get back into it, but it is wake up before your kids. I swear by this. Every single time I get woken up by a screaming child, my entire day, I feel rushed, I feel exhausted, I feel anxious, just all of the above. I'm just so sluggish throughout the day. I noticed that when I woke up before my kids, I felt so much more refreshed. I felt like I got a head start on the day, even just coming downstairs, getting dressed, washing my face, making myself some coffee, things like that, even like starting with their breakfast. I just find that it is so rushed when everybody wakes up at the same time. It's like a mad dash trying to get myself ready, the kids ready. I try to pack Jermaine's breakfast, his lunch. So it's just so hard on us in the mornings when I don't wake up before everyone else. So that is definitely something that I need to start doing again. Number 4, music over screens. This is huge. My kids love music. We recently bought the Alexa, so we have it playing pretty much all day long. They love listening to like throwbacks. They love Ice Ice Baby. They love a bunch of like old school music, which is so much fun. But we recently did another little detox of screen time. Don't get me wrong, I totally get why moms have the TV on majority of the day. I was like that until recently. But for Leo specifically, I notice such a big difference when he gets too much screen time. And Leo, as of right now, is the type of kid that I can't just have the TV on for 10 minutes and then turn it off because he will freak out. He will freak out until we turn it back on. So me and Jermaine kind of came to the agreement that during the day, the TV is not going to come on under any circumstance. Once the kids go to sleep, we'll sit down and watch TV together. But during the day, they get no screen time. The most screen time that they do get will be on my phone or on Jermaine's phone at the end of the night. Sometimes he'll want to watch like Trash Truck, and we'll give him like 10 minutes max, and then that's it. And when I tell you, sometimes I feel like your kids just need a good TV detox because 99% of the shows that we're showing our kids are too fast paced. There's too much going on. The colors are just too bright and vibrant. I just feel like it overwhelms them and it leads to more tantrums. At least that's how it is with Leo. Playing music instead of relying on the TV, I think, is so much better for them, for my kids at least. Instead of just sitting there watching TV now, they'll get up, they'll dance. Leo will literally like grab his sister and start like shimmying and dancing, and it's like the cutest thing. They stay active, they get to listen to music, and it's fun for the parents too to listen to music. The last point that I want to talk about, number 5, play with your kids. And I know this sounds like obviously I'm going to play with my kids. For me personally, I found myself not playing with them. I would tell them, go play, I'm gonna wash the dishes, go play, I'm gonna make dinner, go play, I'm gonna do this real quick. And I found myself never really getting down on their level and playing with them, which is very sad when I think about it because when I do end up getting down on the floor and playing with them, they absolutely love it. They think it's so much fun. Even when we do activities like painting or coloring, a lot of times I will literally just sit them at the table and say, okay, here's the markers, here's the paper, sit down and color. And a lot of times they want me to sit down with them. They want to show me what they're drawing, they want me to draw something. And I've kind of learned that you really do need to just sit down with your kids, slow down, like I said, and just play with them because there is going to be a certain time soon, probably, when they don't want anything to do with us. So in my mind, I'm really trying to think about that and I'm really trying to just slow down with them, sit down with them more, read with them more, and just play and just let them be kids. I also get so much joy when I'm sitting there playing with them because it really does bring me back to when I was a kid playing with like horses and like the different animals. Me and Jermaine were talking about magnetic tiles the other day, and we were talking about how cool it would have been if we had the opportunity as kids to play with magnetic tiles. And we find ourselves now, like when we're playing with them with Leo and Mila, like we're getting so much enjoyment out of them, probably more than Leo and Mila, to be honest, because it's just so much fun and it really like brings out that child in you. Like, when was the last time you sat there and played with building blocks or magnetic tiles or something that you get to use your hands and be creative. Like I feel like nowadays we're just on our phones, we're watching TV, and there's not really very much creativity. So I feel like playing with your kids brings you back, and they love it, we love it. It's literally a win-win for everybody. All the points that I mentioned, I think would really help make your life a little bit easier if you have young kids. And again, it's easier said than done. Some of these points I really need to work on myself, like waking up earlier and playing with my kids more. But I definitely encourage you guys to try, even if it's like one thing that I talked about, try it tonight with your kids and see if you notice a difference in your kids, in yourself, because I know for a fact that there's a lot of moms and dads that kind of struggle with at least one of these things. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and in the comments down below, let me know if you tried out any of what I suggested, and let me know how it works out for you. Thank you for watching. Bye. All right, good job, Ellie. Good job. Hopefully it's a good job.